The Deception unveiled commander, Elena Vasquez, stood at the observation deck of the research vessel Pathfinder, watching the orange glow of Kepler 442b growing larger through the reinforced viewport. After 18 months of deep space travel, they had finally reached their destination. The planet below looked peaceful, almost inviting, with swirling clouds and vast oceans that reminded her of Earth. Elena had spent 12 years in Earth's deep space exploration program, but this mission felt different. The readings they had detected from this world suggested something extraordinary. Energy signatures that didn't match any known natural phenomena, geometric patterns visible from orbital scans, and electromagnetic emissions that seemed almost artificial in nature. Dr. James Mitchell, the mission's lead archaeologist, joined her at the viewport. His excitement was barely contained as he studied the planetary data on his tablet. Elena, the surface scans are incredible. These aren't just ruins we're looking at. This is evidence of a massive civilization that once spanned continents. The architecture, the city layouts, everything suggests a species that was technologically advanced, possibly more than we are today. Elena nodded, though something nagged at her. In all their years of deep space exploration, humanity had found planets with ancient life, fossilized remains, even primitive tool-making evidence. But they had never found proof of an advanced civilization. The galaxy seemed strangely empty of intelligent life, which had always puzzled Earth scientists. If life was common enough to evolve intelligence once, why weren't there others out there? The landing team consisted of Elena, Dr. Mitchell, communications specialist Lisa Park, and security chief Mark Thompson. They took the shuttle down to the planet's surface, touching down near what appeared to be the remains of a massive city. The ruins stretched for kilometers in every direction, with towering spires that had once reached into the sky, now crumbled, and covered in strange crystalline growths. As they explored the ancient structures, Dr. Mitchell's excitement grew with each discovery. Elena, look at this. He was examining what appeared to be a control panel, its surface covered in intricate symbols that seemed to shift and change as they watched. This technology is incredible. These symbols, they're not just decorative. They're some kind of data storage system. Lisa Park had set up her communication equipment nearby and was monitoring space around the planet. Her training had taught her to always maintain contact with the Pathfinder and watch for any unexpected visitors. Space was vast and mostly empty, but humanity had learned to be cautious during their expansion into the galaxy. Mark Thompson, meanwhile, was studying the destruction patterns throughout the city. His military background had taught him to read the signs of conflict, and what he saw troubled him. This wasn't a natural disaster, he told Elena, as they examined a section of the city that had been completely melted. These buildings were destroyed by some kind of energy weapon. Very powerful, very precise. Someone attacked this place. As Dr. Mitchell worked to decode the alien symbols, Elena began to piece together a disturbing picture. The city's layout suggested a peaceful, prosperous civilization. There were what appeared to be parks, residential areas, centers of learning, but the destruction was systematic, thorough. Someone had wanted to ensure that nothing survived. Hours passed as the team documented their findings. Then Dr. Mitchell made a breakthrough that changed everything. He had managed to activate a section of the alien control panel, and holographic images began to appear in the air around them. The images showed the planet as it once was, covered in gleaming cities and green landscapes. Ships moved through the atmosphere, and beings that looked remarkably humanoid went about their daily lives. But then the images changed. The sky filled with massive vessels, unlike anything in the historical records. These ships were enormous, their designs clearly alien but somehow familiar. Elena felt a chill as she recognized similarities to some of the deep space monitoring stations that Earth had encountered on the outer edges of their expansion. The holographic record showed the systematic destruction of the civilization. The alien fleet methodically destroyed every city, every structure, every sign that intelligent life had once flourished on this world. It was genocide on a planetary scale, carried out with cold efficiency. Dr. Mitchell's voice was shaking as he continued to decode more of the records. Elena, there are records here of other worlds, other civilizations. This wasn't an isolated incident. These aliens, whoever they are, they've been doing this for thousands of years. They find emerging civilizations and destroy them before they can become a threat. Before Elena could respond, Lisa Park's voice crackled over their communications. Commander, I'm detecting multiple ships entering the system. Large vessels, configuration unknown. They're not responding to our standard hails. Elena felt her blood turn cold. She looked at the holographic records, still playing around them, showing the destruction of a civilization that had probably never seen their attackers coming. How long until they reach us? At their current speed, maybe 6 hours. Commander, these ships are massive, much larger than anything in Earth's fleet. Elena made a decision that would save not just her team, but possibly all of humanity. Everyone, pack up everything we can carry. We're leaving now. Dr. Mitchell, can you download these records? Asterisk, I'm trying, but the data storage system is incredibly complex. I might only be able to get fragments. Get what you can. Mark, help him. Lisa, prep the shuttle for immediate departure. As they worked frantically to gather the alien records, Elena contacted the Pathfinder. Captain Reynolds, we need emergency extraction. Prepare for immediate departure of the system. Captain Reynolds' voice came back tense. Elena, what's the situation down there? We found evidence of a systematic campaign of genocide, Captain, and I think the perpetrators just arrived. The team managed to board their shuttle just as the first alien ships became visible in the planet's sky. Elena watched through the shuttle's viewport as 5 massive vessels descended toward the surface. Each ship was easily the size of a city, their hulls covered in intricate designs that seemed to shift and change like living things. As the Pathfinder began its departure from the system, Elena studied the data they had managed to retrieve. The records showed not just the destruction of this one world, but references to dozens of others. Species after species, wiped out just as they reached the threshold of interstellar travel. Dr. Mitchell was pale as he reviewed the translations. Elena, according to these records, the aliens call themselves the Hegemony Council, 5 species working together to maintain what they call galactic stability by preventing the emergence of new spacefaring civilizations. How long have they been doing this? The records go back at least 50,000 years. They've destroyed hundreds of civilizations, maybe thousands. Elena stared at the data, her mind racing. Humanity had been expanding into space for over a century now. They had established colonies, built deep space stations, developed faster-than-light travel. According to the pattern shown in these records, they should have encountered the Hegemony Council long ago. Unless they already had, the realization hit her like a physical blow. Lisa, send an emergency transmission to Earth. Priority Alpha classification. Tell them we need to review all our first contact protocols immediately. As the Pathfinder jumped to faster-than-light speed, racing back toward Earth, Elena couldn't shake the feeling that they were already too late. If the Hegemony Council had been operating for 50,000 years, if they were as thorough as the records suggested, then they would already know about humanity. Asterisk, the question was, why were humans still alive? The answer came 3 days later, as they approached Earth's outer monitoring stations. Captain Reynolds called Elena to the bridge, his face grim. We're receiving a transmission from Earth Command. Elena, there's a diplomatic convoy in Earth orbit. They arrived 2 days ago. claiming to represent something called the Hegemony Council. Elena felt the blood drain from her face. The aliens hadn't come to destroy humanity immediately. They had come to talk, which meant they had something else in mind. As the Pathfinder entered Earth's solar system, Elena could see the alien ships hanging in space near Earth's orbital stations. 5 massive vessels, their designs matching perfectly with the ships shown in the ancient records. The same ships that had destroyed countless civilizations were now sitting peacefully in Earth's space, their occupants probably already negotiating. With Earth's leaders, Elena realized with growing horror that humanity was walking into the same trap that had snared so many other species. The Hegemony Council had perfected their technique over 50 millennia. They didn't just destroy civilizations randomly. They studied them, learned about them, and then struck at the perfect moment. The diplomatic convoy wasn't here to negotiate peace. They were here to set up humanity's destruction. As the Pathfinder docked with Earth's primary space station, Elena made a silent vow. Unlike all the other civilizations that had fallen to the Hegemony Council, humanity would not go quietly into extinction. They had one advantage that the others hadn't possessed. They knew what was coming. The Hidden Truth and Preparation Admiral Marcus Chun stood in the secure briefing room, 3 levels below Earth's orbital command center, studying the holographic displays that Elena's team had risked their lives to recover. The ancient alien. Records painted a picture of systematic genocide that had been carried out across the galaxy for millennia. As Elena finished her briefing, the room fell into stunned silence. "How certain are you about these translations?" Admiral Chun asked, though his tone suggested he already believed every word. Dr. Mitchell stepped forward, his face drawn with exhaustion from 3 days of non-stop analysis. "Sir, I've had our best linguists and xenarchaeologists review the data. The patterns are consistent across multiple civilizations. The Hegemony Council follows the same protocol every time. First contact, diplomatic relations, assessment of technological capability, then systematic elimination." Admiral Chun turned to the view screen showing Earth's orbital space. The 5 massive alien ships hung there like sleeping giants, their diplomatic teams already 3 days into negotiations with Earth's political leaders. "What's their current status with the civilian government?" Commander Elena Vasquez consulted her security briefing. "The aliens are presenting themselves as benevolent guides, offering to share technology and knowledge with humanity. They claim they want to welcome us into a galactic community. President Morrison and the UN Security Council are calling it the greatest moment in human history. While planning our extinction," Admiral Chun said grimly. He activated a wall display, showing a classified star chart. "Ladies and gentlemen, what I'm about to show you is known to fewer than 50 people on Earth. Elena, your discovery confirms our worst fears, but it also validates 30 years of secret preparation." The star chart revealed something that made Elena's breath catch. Hidden throughout human space were installations that didn't appear on any public records. Bases carved into asteroids, facilities built into the far sides of moons, entire fleets of ships that existed only in classified databases. Project Lazarus, Admiral Chun explained, initiated in 2157 when our deep space monitors first detected artificial signals from the direction of the galactic core. We realized we weren't alone, but we also realized that staying hidden might be our only chance of survival. Dr. Sarah Kim, Earth's foremost expert in alien technology reverse engineering, joined the briefing via secure hologram from her laboratory on Europa. Her team had been working in absolute secrecy for decades, and her presence confirmed how serious the situation had become. "Admiral, my analysis of the hegemony technology confirms Commander Vasquez's findings," Dr. Kim reported. "But I have additional information that changes our strategic position significantly. We've been reverse engineering hegemony technology. For over 50 years. Elena stared at the hologram in shock. 50 years? But first contact was only 3 days ago. Dr. Kim's expression was grim. Official first contact was 3 days ago. Unofficial contact began in 2103 when we recovered a damaged hegemony scout ship in the outer Kuiper Belt. The crew was dead, but their technology was intact. We've been studying it ever since. Admiral Chun activated another classified display. Dr. Kim's team has made remarkable progress. Our fastest ships can now match hegemony speed. Our weapons technology, while different in approach, is comparable in destructive capability. Most importantly, we've developed stealth systems that make our ships invisible to their sensors. But they must know we have their technology, Elena protested. If they've been monitoring us for 50 years. That's where human psychology gave us an advantage, Dr. Kim explained. The Hegemony Council has eliminated so many civilizations that they've become predictable. They expect emerging species to be eager, curious, and trusting. They don't expect deception on this scale. The briefing continued as Admiral Chun revealed the true scope of humanity's preparations. Hidden colonies throughout the solar system, each one capable of supporting millions of people. Automated manufacturing facilities that could produce warships. Faster than the hegemony believed possible. Most importantly, a communication network that allowed instant coordination across interstellar distances. How many people know the truth? Elena asked. On Earth, fewer than 10,000. In the hidden colonies, about 2 million. The vast majority of humanity believes we're alone in the universe, and that these diplomatic talks represent our first contact with alien life. Elena realized the terrible burden that Earth's leaders had been carrying. For decades, they had known that humanity was living under a death sentence. Every public celebration of space exploration, every announcement of new colonies or technological advances, had been carefully calculated to appear primitive and non-threatening to hidden alien observers. Dr. Mitchell was studying the tactical displays with growing amazement. Admiral, according to these records, no previous civilization ever had this kind of warning or preparation time. Every other species was caught completely off guard. Which brings us to our next problem, Admiral. Chung said, the Hegemony Council's diplomatic team will eventually conclude their assessment of humanity. Based on historical patterns, they'll recommend either immediate elimination or gradual subjugation. Either way, we have perhaps days before they move against us. As if summoned by his words, a priority communication alert chimed through the briefing room. The message was from President Morrison's office, marked with the highest security classification. Admiral Chun opened the communication, and President Morrison's face appeared on the main screen. The civilian leader looked exhausted and deeply troubled. Marcus, the alien delegation has presented their final offer. They want humanity to accept what they call protective status within their galactic community. What does that mean exactly? Admiral Chun asked, though Elena suspected. They all knew. Complete disarmament of our military forces. Relocation of all off-world colonies to designated areas under alien supervision. Technology sharing that would give them access to all our research and development. In exchange, they promised to protect U.S. from the dangers of space and guide our development as a species. Elena felt sick. It was exactly what the ancient records had shown. The Hegemony Council would gradually strip away humanity's independence until they were helpless, then eliminate them when they were no longer useful. What was your response, Mr. President? I told them we needed time to consider such a momentous decision. They've given us 72 hours. Marcus, I need to know our options. Admiral Chun looked around the briefing room at the small group of people who held humanity's fate in their hands. Mr. President, with respect, I recommend we accept their offer publicly while privately implementing Protocol 7. Elena had never heard of Protocol 7, but she could see from the expressions around her that it was significant. President Morrison nodded slowly, as if he had been expecting this recommendation. God help us all, the president said quietly. Admiral, you have authorization to proceed with Protocol 7. May history forgive us for what we're about to do. As the communication ended, Admiral Chun turned to Elena and her team. Protocol 7 is humanity's final contingency plan. If we cannot coexist with the Hegemony Council, then we ensure they cannot eliminate us. Dr. Kim's hologram flickered as her connection strengthened. Commander Vasquez, your discovery has accelerated our timeline by months. We were planning to reveal our capabilities gradually, testing their responses. Now we don't have that luxury. Elena realized she was witnessing something unprecedented in human history. An entire species preparing for a war that most of its members didn't even know was coming. What do you need from us? Your team has the most recent intelligence on hegemony capabilities and tactics. Dr. Mitchell, we need every detail from those. Ancient records. Their ship configurations, weapon signatures, tactical preferences. Anything that might give us an edge. Dr. Mitchell nodded grimly. I'll have a complete analysis ready within 12 hours. Admiral Chun stood, his decision made. Ladies and gentlemen, in 72 hours, humanity will publicly accept the Hegemony Council's offer of protection. What they don't know is that we've spent 50 years preparing for this moment. Every ship they've seen, every base they've monitored, every capability they've assessed represents less than 10% of our true strength. Elena felt a surge of pride mixed with terror. Humanity had been living a lie for decades, pretending to be primitive while secretly building the most advanced military force in their history. The Hegemony Council expected to find a naive species, eager for guidance. Instead, they were about to encounter something they had never faced in 50,000 years of genocide, prey that had learned to hunt. As the briefing concluded and the team prepared to implement humanity's desperate gambit, Elena looked once more at the alien ships hanging peacefully in Earth's orbit. Their crews probably believed they were conducting routine diplomatic relations with another primitive species. They had no idea that deep beneath Earth's surface, in hidden bases throughout the solar system, and in secret facilities scattered across human space, an entire civilization was quietly preparing for war. The Hegemony Council had made one fatal mistake in their millennia of systematic extinction. They had given humanity enough time to prepare. Soon, they would learn why that was the last mistake they would ever make.